Stranger Things fans suspected from the start that Elle's number 11 tattoo meant she was just one of several test subjects experimented upon at Hawkins Lab, and Season 2 confirmed that with the appearance of Carly, aka number 8. Yippee-ki-yay movie lovers, it's Jan here, and today I want to delve deep into some hidden clues you may have missed in Season 2, which reveal secrets about more young people likely abducted by Hawkins Lab for experimentation and who may appear in Season 3 and beyond. Obviously, I'll be discussing spoilers from both seasons, so take care if you're not up to date. Carly and Elle's tattoos suggest that there are at least 9 other test subjects in Project MKUltra, and given that the lost sisters who spent time together in the lab's rainbow room have different powers to each other, with Carly being able to cast illusions, we can assume the other young people subjected to the lab's experiments may also have developed different abilities. Although Carly herself doesn't mention any other Hawkins test subjects, 11 learned about her lost sister when she read her mother's mind and investigated further with the files her Aunt Becky gave her. And it's in those files that we get some glimpses of news reports about abductions and missing children and mothers. Carly's file was among those papers, so it's very likely that 11's mother thought those reports were connected to Project MKUltra and the Hawkins Lab. The first file that 11 flips past is a news clipping about a Cleveland girl who's gone missing in Indiana. The report states that a 16-year-old junior high school honors student and girls basketball team captain from Ohio went missing at some point after leaving an Indiana junior high gym to go back to her bus that was returning home. There's no date on this clipping, but it's eerie that this potentially has a connection to the ending of Season 2, where we see the shadow monster in the Upside Down looming over the Hawkins Middle School gym. The news report also states that the girl's father is a widower, so she has a missing mother, and her father describes her as a genius and exceptionally strong for her age. This could mean her mother was experimented on at Hawkins or elsewhere, and after leaving the MKUltra project gave birth to a girl with special gifts. The mother could have later died from the effects of the experiments, but the Hawkins Lab learned about the gifted girl and abducted her while she was visiting Indiana. There's also another intriguing possibility though, which is that the girl was actually playing basketball at Hawkins Middle School itself, where we know there's a portal that both the Demogorgon and 11 used to cross between the Upside Down and the real world. Well, if this girl was gifted like 11, she might have stumbled across the portal and travelled to the Upside Down either willingly or accidentally, where perhaps she got lost. Or maybe she even created that portal in Hawkins Middle School in the first place. Okay, so if that's not crazy enough yet, there's more in the clipping. The news report continues, mentioning that a girl matching the missing girl's general description was later discovered wandering around an Indiana suburb. There are various possibilities here. One is that this girl was abducted by the Hawkins Lab, but she escaped and they managed to find her and take her back to the facility before she got to safety. Another possibility is that the Hawkins Lab guys arranged for a similar looking girl to be seen in the neighbourhood as a way of trying to hide the fact that the real girl had gone missing. Or they could simply have had Carly use her powers to cast an illusion, making it look like the girl was still out there. Remember, they've done these kind of things before, for example releasing a fake dead body for Will to cover up the fact that he'd gone missing in the Upside Down. Alternatively, another pretty far-fetched possibility, which may have sped through your mind if you're a fan of the Flash TV show, is that the Upside Down is a replica of our world, just that it's been corrupted by the shadow monster. After all, we see the same buildings from Hawkins in the Upside Down, so could there have been doppelganger versions of people somewhere in the alternate dimension, and a doppelganger of the missing girl was sent to our world from the Upside Down? Okay, back to the other reports. Behind the Cleveland clipping is another one that only has some very sparse details. The title appears to read "Another Girl Lost," and you can see the words "Go Police" mentioned in the tiny bit of the report which is showing, perhaps suggesting that the Chicago police were mentioned. If that's the case, then this looks like a Chicago girl who's disappeared too. Another file which 11 flicks past mentions a baby boy abducted from a Memphis hospital. The circumstances reported around the abduction are particularly suspect, as the account states that the boy went missing with a nurse who turned up for work unexpectedly after being off sick for a week. The article then states that the nurse was discovered dead from a gunshot wound at her house, but the boy was missing. It sounds like the nurse was probably used by the Hawkins Lab or the MKUltra project to abduct the boy, and then she was killed to avoid her squealing. The fact she was off sick and then suddenly appeared at work may suggest she spent time either willingly or under coercion at the Hawkins Lab or another secret government facility. It seems like the MKUltra project were looking for the child's mother because she was probably an ex-test subject, and they needed the nurse to find out when or where she was going to give birth. The fact that the show's gone to the effort of putting so much information and a photo in this clipping makes me think this is another gifted character which the showrunners could be setting up to appear in a future season. There's also something intriguing in another newspaper clipping just behind the baby boy article. If you look carefully, there's some text about someone missing from San Diego. San Diego is of course in California, and we know that two new main characters, Max and Billy, moved from California to Hawkins in season 2, though we don't know where from exactly. We do know that Billy has a lot of issues though, some of which may be explained by his authoritarian, bullying father, but we don't know anything about Billy's mother and why his father is no longer with her. In some ways, the introduction of Billy in season 2 was a bit sketchy and perplexing, as he was a real jerk pretty much the whole time, so I do wonder whether the showrunners decided to include him more for potential future storylines. And in fact, the Duffer Brothers have said that they wanted to have a human villain in the show that could disrupt the lives of their characters. So it's a long shot, but I wonder if there's any potential connection between Billy's mother and this possible missing child or person in San Diego. There's also one more set of clippings which are a bit more cryptic. One says a mother and daughter from Pawtucket have gone missing. There's also a picture of a young boy which mentions a county hospital. And another article seems to talk about a wave of disappearances of children and teens. At the bottom of the piece there's mention of the Gary Police Department, and Gary is a small city in Indiana not far from Chicago. Now, I don't expect we'll see all of these reported abductions or missing children in future seasons. Some of the children or adults may be dead, long gone, or not important for the overall storyline the Duffer Brothers want to tell in the show. Some may also just be random reports that are unconnected to the Hawkins Lab. However, I do think that the missing baby boy and the missing girls basketball captain are very specific and detailed reports that I think we'll see feed into either season 3 or 4. By the way, if you cast your mind back to season 1, you'll remember that when Hopper was reading newspaper articles about Dr. Brenner, one of them mentions 6 subjects coming forward to give testimony about the Project MKUltra experiments. And alongside that, there was a picture of young women dressed in the kind of hospital gown we see Elle wear when she first escapes from the lab. So just as Terry Ives, who took part in the MKUltra project, gave birth to a gifted daughter in the form of 11, any of those women in that photograph could also be the mothers of similarly gifted children who will appear in the show going forward. On top of that, given Carly's awesome power to make people see whatever she wants them to, there's a possibility that Hopper's flashbacks to his last days with his daughter are merely memories of illusions the Hawkins Lab made him see, and that really his daughter Sara was also one of the children abducted and experimented on. Something else I think is interesting is the strong X-Men vibe to the show, which has been clear since the very first episode. 11 already has powers reminiscent of various X-Men like Professor X, Magneto and Jean Grey, and I wonder whether the Duffer Brothers are considering potentially teaming Elle up with multiple gifted individuals like Carly and others out there who we've yet to meet. I love how the seasons have developed so far, but if the Shadow Monster is going to be an ongoing big bad, at some point I imagine it will take more than just what 11 can currently do to defeat it. It's possible that 11 could continue to power up as she has done this season, but it wouldn't surprise me if eventually the monster's defeat ended up being a group effort. So what do you think about having more gifted children or individuals showing up in future seasons of Stranger Things? And do you have any theories or predictions on who they'll be and what powers they'll have? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to also subscribe to my channel for a chance to win an awesome Stranger Things Funko Pop. I'm currently working on more Stranger Things plus Thor Ragnarok videos, so hit the notification bell to get my new videos as soon as they're live. And in the meantime, you can check out more videos you might like here. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers!